Yo, what's up guys? It's Noah here, and in today's video, we're going to be talking through some player props I like over on Prizepicks for the Week 1 NFL slate. The full Sunday slate of games, man, it's finally here. We had a couple, primetime games on Thursday night and on Friday night, but now we've got the full Sunday slate. I've got 3 plays I like for today, guys, that I'm going to share and break down in this video. And as always, we're going to talk through these plays and share why I like them. Now, before we do get started, make sure you guys hit that like button down below. If you enjoy these Prizepicks videos, hit that subscribe button as well. And if you guys are new to the channel and if you are new to Prizepicks, if you don't have a Prizepicks account, make sure that you go sign up. Use that promo code NOAH when you sign up for Prizepicks with my promo code and play $5. You're going to get $50 worth of free lineups instantly added to your account. And I do want to shout out Prizepicks because they once again have a free square available. As you can see on the screen, Lamar Jackson's pass yards for Sunday Night Football, that projection's set at 0.5, and this is a free pick available to everyone. Prizepicks just put out a free square for the Thursday Night Football game to start the season, but they're also giving us another free square for Sunday Night Football. So just another incentive to sign up for Prizepicks right now. They're doing a bunch of promotions for the start of the NFL season. A lot of the DFS sites are doing promotions like that to try and get new people in. So just another incentive to sign up for Prizepicks right now, guys. If you don't have an account over there, make sure that you use that promo code NOAH so that way you get those $50 in free lineups once you play your first $5 lineup. And then I do also want to give a quick shout out to Sleeper because we are partnered with Sleeper as well. And Sleeper is also doing a promotion for the start of the NFL season. They're giving a free square available to every user, new users and existing users. So this is just another incentive to sign up for Sleeper right now. They got a free pick. Joe Burrow's pass yards is set at 0.5. Take that pick, pair it with any props you like, whether it be the props I give out in this video, or if you want to do your own plays and pair that with the free square, you can do so. But again, guys, you want to be using these promotions to your advantage. These are easy ways that you can make money when sites are giving you, picks that are guaranteed to hit. You just got to find at least one prop that you like to pair with that, and you can easily, double or triple your money based on whatever props you take. But definitely check out Sleeper, guys. Download the Sleeper app. Use that promo code NOAH. You will get your first deposit matched up to $100 when you sign up for Sleeper with my promo code. And one more thing before we talk through our plays for this Sunday slate, guys. I do want to say that I am running a promotion, a sale, to start the NFL season over on Patreon. So if you guys don't know, I do give out additional Prizepicks plays pretty much every day on Patreon, at least on the days where we have like NFL and college football and stuff like that. I do give out plays over there. It's $20 per month. It's typically $20 per month. But right now I'm running a sale where you can get your first month half off. So you can get 50% off your first month. Or if you want to try a yearly membership, you can get 50% off the yearly membership as well. The yearly membership typically comes out to about $220. So it would be like $110 for the whole year. That would get you all the way through NFL and college football season. And it would get you all the way through NBA season as well. But if you want to check out the Patreon, as you can see on the screen right here, 50% off your first month or first year. That sale does end after Monday Night Football, so you're not going to have a lot of time to get this promotion. If you've ever thought about joining the Patreon, if it's ever been something that you wanted to try, I definitely recommend trying it out now while I am running a sale. Get that first month for $10, or if you want to try it out for a year, get that first year yearly subscription. But you can see all that we offer on Patreon. We give out Prizepicks plays pretty much every single day over there. Sometimes I'll give out plays for other DFS apps as well, but it's typically going to be centered around Prizepicks. And then we do also have a Discord chat available where you can talk with me, talk with other members of the community. But if you guys do want to check out the Patreon, again, running a sale for the start of the NFL season that's going to run through Monday Night Football. So at midnight on Monday, that's when the sale ends. Check that out. Linked down below in the description if you are interested. But let's go ahead and talk about some Prizepicks plays I do like here for the Sunday slate of games. And the first prop that I'm liking is going to be a receptions prop. And we're going to take Tyreek Hill for more than 5.5 receptions. Now, Tyreek Hill, typically we would see him have a receptions prop, usually set at like 6.5. Sometimes we've even seen his receptions lines up at like 7.5. Last year, he had a little bit of an up and down year, but he did not play all of his games with Tua last year. He did play, I think, 6 games without Tua last season, and he went under this line in 4 out of those 6 games. Obviously wasn't as good without Tua. He's typically, historically, not been as good without Tua. This game against the Jets, that game was without Tua. And then I think this game against Cleveland was also without Tua. And then there's a bunch of other games this season that he played without Tua. And he did go under this line in 4 out of his 6 games without Tua last year. But in his games with Tua, he went over in, I believe, half of his games. Let's see, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5 out of 11 games he went over this game with Tua last season. And a lot of the games where he went under were kind of some tougher matchups, like against the Patriots, against the Bills, the 49ers, the Bills again, the Rams. Like, these are solid defensive teams. Well, to start the season, he's going to get a pretty good matchup here against the Colts in what should be more of a high-scoring game. Like, if we look at the total in this Colts-Dolphins game, this game has a 46.5 total, which is towards the top of the slate. And this game is going to be played in the Colts Stadium, which is indoors. And typically you see NFL games be a little bit more higher scoring when they're played indoors, just because there's no weather concerns. You don't have to worry about wind or field conditions being poor. Dome conditions are always going to be better for scoring. And I think this is a good spot for Tyreek to start the season. There have been some kind of reports about him dealing with injuries this offseason, but he's not on the injury report. He's fully expected to play. Doesn't have he's not questionable or anything. Doesn't have any injury designations for Week 1. So I'm expecting Tyreek Hill to be full go here to start the season. And I think Tyreek, we can maybe see him kind of maybe tail off towards the end of the year if he's still dealing with some injuries. But while he's fresh to start the year, Week 1, not dealing with any injury designations, not on the injury report, this is when I want to bet on Tyreek Hill. And I'd like him for more than 5.5 receptions here. We know he's a high-volume receiver. He's a guy that demands a lot of targets, typically sees close to double-digit targets on a weekly basis. We know the target share in this Dolphins offense is pretty much dominated by Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. And especially with Miami losing Jonnu Smith, who was actually a pretty good tight end for them last year, I could see the target share even more condensed around Tyreek and Jalen Waddle this year. And of course, Devon Achane is a good pass-catching running back. They'll use him in the passing game as well. But I'm expecting plenty of volume for Tyreek here. I mean, you look at his targets prop, that line is set at 8.5. So I mean, the Prizepicks, they're projecting Tyreek for like 8 or 9 targets in this spot. And I think if he gets that many targets, he's got a pretty good chance at 5.5 receptions, because they can call up so many different plays for Tyreek. Easy screen passes for him to get easy receptions. Sure, they'll take some deep shots and they'll try and hit him down the field, but they also do a lot of short, quick routes for Tyreek to kind of get him out in space. And again, those are usually easy receptions for him. So I like that as our first prop for today. Tyreek Hill more than 5.5 receptions. And looking at sportsbook odds, right now, a lot of the sportsbooks, DraftKings, FanDuel, they're pretty heavily favoring the over on this receptions prop for Tyreek. I think DraftKings had it like minus 135 favored to go over. So Juice is favoring the over on this prop as well. That's another reason why I like this play. That's going to be our first play for Sunday. Now, the next play I like is in that same game on the other side. And I'm liking Jonathan Taylor for more than 15.5 fantasy score. Now, Jonathan Taylor, I think, is going to be poised to have a monster year for the Colts this season. The workload is just going to be massive for him, because if you look at this Colts backfield, like, there's really nobody in this backfield you're worried about taking touches away from Jonathan Taylor. Their number 2 running back is DJ Giddens, who is a rookie. So it's really hard to tell how much they're going to use a rookie. And then after that, they have Ulysses Bentley, another rookie. I believe he came out of Ole Miss, or I think he was at Ole Miss. So this Colts backfield is just going to be heavily featuring Jonathan Taylor. Now, sure, Giddens will probably get some involvement in the passing game, maybe on third downs and stuff, but in short yardage situations, and especially in the red zone near the goal line, like, it's just going to be all Jonathan Taylor. And if you look at Jonathan Taylor last season, like, when he was healthy, he was getting huge volume. Like, this game against Jacksonville, he had 34 carries and 2 targets. The game against the Giants, 32 carries and 4 targets. The game against Tennessee, he had 29 carries, 22 carries against Denver, 25 carries against the Patriots. Like, they were just feeding the ball to Jonathan Taylor last season. And I think they're going to be doing the same again this year. I like the matchup here against the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are probably going to have one of the worst defenses in the NFL this year. So this should set up as a pretty good spot for Jonathan Taylor. They're home favorites here. As we've talked about, at home in a good dome environment, this is a good spot for scoring. I think this game does have potential to be more of a shootout, playing in a dome indoors where there's no weather concerns. And another thing that I think is good for Jonathan Taylor this season is that with Daniel Jones starting at quarterback, Daniel Jones is a lot more likely to check it down, to target his receivers, whereas Anthony Richardson was a quarterback that almost never targeted his running, or not his receivers, excuse me, his running backs. Daniel Jones is a lot more likely to check it down to the running back, whereas Anthony Richardson is looking to scramble. He doesn't really check down to the running backs at all. So I think we could see Jonathan Taylor even more involved in the passing game this season. And for Prizepicks fantasy score, you do get a full point per reception. You can click on scoring chart. You can see how fantasy points are calculated. You do get a point per reception. And if Jonathan Taylor can catch a couple passes to go along with the yards that he gets and the potential for touchdowns, there's just so many ways for him to go over this 15.5 fantasy score line. And I mean, if you look at his his projections for Sunday, I mean, he's got a rush yards prop set at 80.5, so he's projected for about 80 rush yards. He's projected for 2 receptions. He's projected for 12.5 receiving yards. So add up all his yards plus receptions, he's projected for about 11 to 12 fantasy points just off yards and receptions. And then you got to factor in his potential for touchdowns. His touchdown prop on Prizepicks is a goblin, which means it's more favored to go over. So he's favored to score a touchdown here. Like, there's just a lot of ways for him to go over 15.5 fantasy score. I like betting on Jonathan Taylor early in the season when he's healthy, when his legs are fresh. Maybe towards the end of the year he starts to slow down, especially if he has a huge workload. Then maybe he starts to slow down towards the end of the year. But at the beginning of the season, man, they're going to be feeding the ball to Jonathan Taylor, and I think this is a really good matchup for him to start off the year at home against the Dolphins team that I expect to be pretty bad defensively this season. So like that is our second prop for Sunday, and then our third and final prop is going to be another fantasy score. We're going to go to the Sunday night football game. There's a fantasy score line that I'm liking in this game, and we're going to take Mark Andrews for more than 10.5 fantasy scores. So the reason I'm liking this prop on Mark Andrews, the main reason, Isaiah Likely has been ruled out for this game on Sunday night, and Mark Andrews has historically had good splits without Isaiah Likely. Now, he's only played 2 games without Isaiah Likely, so it is kind of a small sample. But in those 2 games, he had 7 targets, 4 catches for 50 yards. And then last year, he did play 1 game without Isaiah Likely, 7 targets, 6 catches for 68 yards, and a touchdown. In that game that he played last season without Isaiah Likely, he played on 87% of the snaps, so he was out there for a large majority of the snaps. He ran a route on 95% of dropbacks, so he's basically running a route on almost every single one of Lamar's dropbacks. And then he had a 22% target share in that game last year without Isaiah Likely. So the role was really, really good for Mark Andrews. And I know Mark Andrews last season, he kind of had a down year. He wasn't as productive as he has historically been. Mark Andrews has historically been a great tight end, especially for fantasy, because they use him a lot in the red zone. He typically scores a lot of touchdowns. But he kind of had a down year last year, had some down games. But his stats without Isaiah Likely are really, really good. He should be on the field for a large majority of the snaps, and he should be able to soak up a lot of targets here in a decent matchup, I think, against the Bills. The Bills last year against tight ends were kind of middle of the pack, but they were top 10 in targets allowed to tight ends. So tight ends were heavily targeted when they faced Buffalo. So I think that sets up really well for Mark Andrews here. I think this is another game that has potential to be a shootout. Buffalo and Baltimore on Sunday night. Right now, the total in this game is 50.5, so a pretty high total in the spot. 2 good offenses, 2 good quarterbacks. This definitely has some shootout potential. And Mark Andrews, this role that he has without Isaiah Likely, I think is really, really good. I think 10.5 fantasy score is definitely a little bit too low on Andrews in this spot. I mean, you look at his yards prop set at 44.5. He's favored for over 3.5 receptions. If he just gets 4 catches for 40 yards, that's already, that's 8 fantasy points right there. And then you got to factor in his potential for touchdowns. I know he's a demon to score a touchdown, so his odds to score a touchdown are not as likely, but that doesn't mean he still can't score a touchdown here. And I think this fantasy score line is low enough on Andrews that he doesn't need a touchdown to go over this line. He could get 5 or 6 catches for 50 yards, and that could be enough for him to go over fantasy score, because again, you got to remember Prizepicks fantasy score, it is full PPR, so getting guys that can catch 5-6 passes is always valuable. Andrews definitely one of those guys, especially without Likely. He has the potential to get 5 or 6 receptions. So I do like this prop as our third prop for Sunday. Mark Andrews more than 10.5 fantasy score. And then remember, guys, you can take the Lamar Jackson free square as well. Use that while it's still available on Prizepicks. You can pair that with these plays if you want to. Would definitely recommend probably not pairing it with the Andrews prop, because when you pair it with Andrews, since those 2 props are correlated, you do lose. The payout does reduce. So actually, I would probably not pair it with Andrews. But if you want to take out the Andrews prop and then play the Lamar free square with the other 2 plays, you can do that. But make sure that you're using those free squares, you're using those discounts anytime they're available. And right now, Prizepicks does have a free square available for week 1 of the NFL season. Take that. And again, if you don't have an account on Prizepicks, use that promo code NOAH when you sign up. But as always, guys, I appreciate your support on these Prizepicks videos. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure to hit that like button down below if you enjoyed this video. Hit that subscribe button as well. And go check out Prizepicks, guys. Use that promo code NOAH again when you sign up. Get those free lineups. Get that free square. Take advantage of all these promotions that the DFS apps, the sites are doing to start the NFL season. And also, if you want to join our Patreon, you can get the first month off first month 50% off to start the season. Again, I'm running a promotion. It ends after Monday Night Football, so you have about until midnight on Monday night to decide if you want to get into the Patreon. But get behind the paywall, see all that we have to offer outside of the free picks I give out on YouTube. I do give out more plays every day on Patreon. You can get in our Discord as well. Just $10 for your first month, so very, very affordable. If you want to try out a yearly membership, I know that's more of a commitment, but you could get a yearly membership. It would come out to about $110 for the whole year. That would get you all through the NFL season, all through college football season, and it would get you all the way through NBA season as well. So up to you, but check that out. Linked down below in the description if you're interested. But that's what I got for Sunday, guys. Best of luck this week in the NFL streets. Let's all make some money, and I'll see you guys in the next video.